Whenever I have a fraction equaling a fraction, I'm going to cross multiply first. So here's what I mean by that. The 2, I'm going to multiply it by the x and the 10. That's the key. You got to multiply it by both things. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 10 is a positive 20. Once that's multiplied, you bring down your equal sign and you go in the other direction. So now this x needs to be multiplied with both things. X times x is x squared, and x times 3 is a positive 3x. Now we have a squared term. You always want to leave that positive. So I'm going to move everything that's on the opposite side of the equal sign. I'm going to make it join the x squared side. And I do that by doing opposites. The opposite of positive 2x is negative 2x. So I'm going to put a negative 2x over here. And the opposite of positive 20 is negative 20. So I put a negative 20. Opposites cancel. So you have 0. 0 equals x squared. 3x take away 2x is a 1x. And then a negative 20. Now because it is a quadratic, I'm going to factor. So you're just going to leave the 0 equals alone. Nothing in front of x squared, so I can make 2 sets of parentheses, split up my x's evenly, bring down the first sign. A positive times something equals a negative. Well, that would be a negative. A positive times a negative equals a negative. And I work backwards. The factors of 20 that when I subtract them equal 1 are 5 times 4. And you always want to put the biggest one first. Now, if it had said factor, that would be finished. And it didn't say. I forgot to put the instructions on. It's solve. So because it's equal to 0, you're going to do the opposites. So the opposite of positive 5 is negative 5. And the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4. You need to go back up to the original denominators and see if either one of these make a denominator 0, because that's not allowed. And that would be if this were a negative 3 or a negative 10, but that's not what I have. So this particular problem has 2 answers, a negative 5 and a positive 4. So again, I'm going to cross multiply. X times x is x squared. Bring down the equal. Cross multiply the other direction. 4 times 3x is 12x. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. I need the x squared. I need to leave it positive, so I have to move everything else over. So the opposite of positive 12x is negative 12x. Excuse me, I'm going to put that there. The opposite of negative 20 is positive 20. Put that over here. Okay, these can't be put together because they're not like terms. So all I can do is write them down, which is what we wanted anyway. And the opposites over here cancel, so that'd be 0 because 12 take away 12, 20 take away 20. Those are both 0. I'm going to factor by making 2 sets of parentheses. Split up the x's. Bring down the first term. Since this is a positive, that means the same sign you wrote over here. I want the factors of 20 that when I add them equal 12. Well, that's 10 times 2 because they multiply to 20 and add to 12. So now because you have equal 0, you do the opposite. The opposite of negative 10 is positive 10. The opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. Neither one of those makes the denominator 0 because if you put 10 in, you've got 30 take away 5, or 10, on one side and 10 on the other. And then 6 take away 5, nothing equals 0. So those are your 2 answers, 10 and 2. If one of them were to equal 0, then that particular number would not be part of your solution. So I'm going to multiply, cross multiply. That negative 3 gets multiplied by everything. So negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Negative 3 times negative 9 is a positive 27. Bring down the equal, multiply the other direction. X times x is x squared. I want to leave the x squared alone, so I move everything that's on the other side of the equal sign. The opposite of negative x is 6x is positive 6x, so I'm going to add that to both sides. The opposite of positive 27 is negative 27, so I'm also going to do that. Opposites cancel, so that gives me 0 equals x squared plus 6x minus 27. I make my two sets of parentheses, split up my x's. First sign comes down. The negative here means they're opposite signs. The factors of 27 that when I subtract them equals 6 are 9 times 3, biggest one first. And you want opposites. The opposite of positive 9 is negative 9, and the opposite of negative 3 is positive 3. Neither one of those makes the denominator 0, so you're finished.